Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah.
Thank God, dude. Thank God you're on the call tonight. Jesus.
Okay.
We gather here today to say thank you to the Lord for blessing our ears with Dan Orlovsky on a call tonight. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we say his prayer.
Amen.
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 Amen, Dan. How do you feel about tonight? Feel like you're going to have your fastball out there in Seattle? Is that what we're thinking? You've dug in deep to the narratives of this game and the players. How do you feel tonight's game's going to go between the Texans and the Seahawks?
Yeah, tonight, heavyweight fight, championship defenses.
God bless them already. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, anyways, I'm sorry.
Heavyweight fight. I'm telling you, Seattle's got a Super Bowl contending football team. I think they got the defensive player of the year right now. And Leonard Williams, I don't think there's a better defensive player, more impactful defensive player right now, specifically on the inside of football. So this is a defense with Mike McDonald. I mean, dude, DeMarcus Lawrence right now is playing unbelievable football. Jaron Reed's playing great. Byron Murphy's playing great. Maffei's playing great. Nicky Minwari, their rookie out of South Carolina, is going to play. Just his size reminds people of Cam Chancellor and Kyle Hamilton. I'm not saying he's that type of player yet, but this is a defense right now that is just absolutely off the charts. And it's an offense that's the best big play offense in the league right now. Sam and JSN, they just hunt big time throws down the field. It's one of my favorite offenses in the league right now schematically. Clint Kubiak, their offensive coordinator, son of Gary Kubiak, who was one of the founders of kind of getting the Texans really solidified as a big time NFL organization, took them to the first playoffs. Their two tight ends are awesome players. So I love their offense schematically. And,
awesome.
I think it's a Super Bowl caliber football team. I absolutely do. And then Houston's got the best defense or the best unit in football no one talks about. Will Anderson is destroying people on a consistent basis. I mean, he's old school defensive lineman. We asked them last night, what do you like better, sacking the quarterback or splitting an offensive lineman in the run game? And he leaned back and was like, hands over his face, didn't know how to say. He said, I get joy in doing both. And so, this is a defense right now that is speed and physical and violent, and Stingley's ridiculous. And so, can their offense and offensive line specifically play better, more consistent in Houston? But this is a heavyweight fight tonight.
Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, Dano, in this heavyweight fight, how do you expect C.J. Stroud to play? I guess what have you seen early on this season in his play, and maybe at times when it hasn't been up to the standard that he kind of set early on in his career?
Yeah, I think the question about Houston and really when will CJ or can he get back to that 2023 form and production is really attached to three things. One, can the offensive line play better? This offensive line has been bad through the first 3 weeks of the year, game-wise. Their last two have been better, but they've been beat one-on-one. They've been schematically overwhelmed. They've been poor picking up pressure. So can the offensive line just build some continuity? They got a young left tackle starting a rookie. I wouldn't single block him one time tonight. So they got to play better. I think the second thing is with this new offensive coordinator, Nick Caley, has a history with the Patriots and the Rams. I think their big thing is trying to find diversity on their early downs to create plays down the field for Nico Collins like this. Trying to not stress this offensive line so much in obvious passing situations. And then they're young receivers. You're seeing a clip of a Jalen Noel, who's a rookie from Iowa State. They got a Jaden Higgins from Iowa State. So, in 2023, he had Nico Collins, he had Tank Dell, he had Steph Diggs. Now it's, Nico, who's an established veteran, and then some young pieces. So I think he'll play. I'd say this, AJ, if they have early down success, CJ's got a chance to play well versus a great defense. If they struggle on early downs, it's going to be a long night for him in this offense.
Look out, CJ. And let's go to the other side of the ball, guy who's obviously had quite a resurgence over the last couple of years. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Dan, obviously hindsight is 2020, but is it safe to say at this point that the Vikings made a massive mistake in letting Sam Darnold walk? I don't know what some people I think maybe thought last year was an aberration and he wasn't really going to be able to do the same thing, but you just mentioned it, they're a Super Bowl contender and he looks unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing at a high level. Mistake when it comes to Minnesota. Once they took JJ, you kind of knew that was going to be the eventual and inevitable step. I'll tell you this. When you talk to Sam, you just have such an appreciation for how far he's come in his own journey. And the biggest thing we were talking to him, Ty, was like, how did you not get broken? Like, how did you not get broken from the failures in New York and the struggles, and then you go to Carolina and you stink and all that stuff. And he said,
Yeah.
he gave a ton of credit to his father. He's like, my dad has always just taught me just to try to get better day by day. And he was like, I just was focused on that. But the two people that I was really surprised that he mentioned, he mentioned a lot of people, but he emphasized Ben McAdoo as a guy, as a coach. If you remember,
Yes.
the
Love it.
Giants coach, dude, he could not have sung his praises more of like, dude, that guy transformed my football career and my life when it comes to the biggest thing was like him harping on his feet, like harping, and Sam calls it clicking through progressions. And then he said getting the opportunity to go to San Francisco and play behind Brock Purdy. And he was like, I watched Brock Purdy play, and watching Brock Purdy play made him such a better player because the same thing, like how good Brock is with his feet. And he's playing awesome, man. He's super confident. JSN and Cooper Cup have been tremendous for him, but he's playing the best football of his career.
Okay, I can't wait to watch and listen to you on the call tonight. I think you do a great job, so we can't wait for that. Safe travels to wherever you're headed after the Seattle game tonight to be immediately on television. You just mentioned Brock Purdy right there for Sam Darnold, watching him kind of go through his thing. You think Mac Jones learned from Brock Purdy as well? And what are your thoughts on the 4-1 Mac Jones-led San Francisco 49ers situation?
There's no question he learned from Brock Purdy and getting the opportunity to play. But I think they also had a similar playing style. When it comes to they're very anticipatory type of players. They want to be ball distributors. They want to play the point guard thing. I think the couple things that stand out from last night's game from an offensive perspective for San Francisco. You guys remember when they cut Juszczyk in the offseason and there was like a little bit of limbo. Is he going to go back or not? Good God, I bet you they're grateful he's still there because he just does so much for their football team. McCaffrey is, very much so in the MVP conversation. His touches right now, I remember when they were dealing 4 weeks ago with all their injuries, like, can they give him the ball that much? He's doing it all. I hope you guys play the clip of his long completion at the end of the game because the way that he's maybe one of two players in the league. This one, he's lined up as like a slot receiver. He's running a seam down the field. Like he's got the depth of a running back, the width of a slot receiver. He fakes like he's going to run almost like an out route and the seam. I mean, there's just not a lot of people that can do that. He chases the safety, just an unbelievable play. To be able to like call that play from McCaffrey is remarkable. And then I'd say this, dude, Robert Saleh's got to get a lot of love. This defense hunted last night against Atlanta and a good offense. They chased the football so much. And so incredible coaching job in San Francisco right now by Kyle and the fellas.
It's a hunting season, isn't it? It certainly is. And the Niners look like they're incredible. They look like they're all the way back to being the best versions of themselves. Once George Kittle starts opening up through the sky, that's only going to get even better for whatever quarterback is playing for them. And now let's talk about a quarterback who's playing like the best version of himself. And boy, is it great to see. I think we saw this version a couple years back, now maybe even in a bigger form.
Yeah, once 15 and Red gets humming, everybody gets to kind of shaking in their boots. What's going on? What are you seeing with Patrick Mahomes in this offense? I feel like he's been great all year, but we just saw yesterday with him having his weapons, having Hollywood, Rashee Rice been back in the building, Worthy, all those guys been on the field for the first time at the same time. What are you seeing with this offense, and what do you expect going forward?
Conviction and trust. And those are two words that Patrick and Andy Reid and Matt Nagy just did not have a lot of last year, rightfully so. The conviction to believe in one, protection, and two, the people around them. You see the ball distribution. I think they had like 9 or 10 dudes catch passes. And but for me, it's if you just watch the creative design of the plays, that tells me Andy Reid and Matt Nagy trust those people on the field because we weren't seeing it over the last year. Up until like 3 weeks ago, it has started, and they're back to some of the motion stuff. They're back to creating some of the one-on-ones for perimeter players. If you see yesterday how they would take on a consistent basis, Kelsey on one side of the ball, Rashee Rice on the other side of the ball, and you notice like it balances their formation. Then what are you going to run? You're going to run zone. You're going to run man. I'll start with Travis and then work opposite. And just we're seeing more plays where Patrick is, not leaving the pocket too soon, but they're just giving him the opportunity to say, hey, does the initial read hit? Great, get it out of your hands. And if not, Patrick, go make some special plays. And it's not out of a running for your life necessity. It's out of the, oh, I have time to maneuver a little bit. That's a big difference than last year. And so I probably undervalued the impact of Worthy and Rice on their offense. Having those two guys back, man, trust and conviction from everybody in that offense.
Rashee Rice, last 17 games, including playoffs, equivalent of one full season, 106 catches on 139 targets, 2 drops.
Jeez.
1,169 yards, 61 first downs, 9 touchdowns, and they were force-feeding him, too. It was very much like, welcome
Balance
back.
is their offense.
Yeah, they're very much like, welcome back. It is great to have you. And who knows what they do before trade deadline, too. You never know with this Kansas City Chiefs team. And as soon as they showed a glimpse of being great again, the sports books just go, yep, they're the favorites, and he's the favorite, even though nobody else was seeing it at the time. Let's talk about another team, the reigning Super Bowl champs. They might be in their best form. Jalen Hurts threw 3 touchdowns yesterday. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Dano, we were all shocked when the Eagles were throwing the ball to A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and it was working. What did they do to kind of unlock this, or not even unlock it, but kind of bring it back to everyone's forefront? Because there was about, 2 quarters of this game where it thought, oh, wow, watching the Eagles sucks now. But then you remember how many studs they have on their team. What was the difference you saw from them on Sunday?
Yeah, I think so. The first touchdown to A.J. Brown is just kind of like backyard football. That ball there, right there, that he throws to Devontae. So this one to A.J., this is just, I think this is decently subpar defense. They don't rush that well. A.J. is matched up really on a safety. This is the big one, though, to Devontae. Number 1, 6 offensive linemen. Number 2, he's underneath the center. Number 3, play action. They haven't done any of that this year. And so it leads to a huge play. A.J.'s in the backside running the in. Everybody's attention is playing to him, or pointed to him, and he has that beautiful post touchdown to Devontae Smith. But they did more of that. I think you saw Jalen be really good when it came to plus plays, like breaking outside of the pocket and getting into scramble mode. Dude, you know what's my favorite part of this? Another under center, 6 offensive linemen, play action. No, throw the ball in the middle field. You don't say. So, like, but this doesn't have to be necessarily who they are, like on a consistent basis. But 3, 4, 5 times a game, look how wide open these dudes are. So that has to be a little bit. You want to know what my favorite part of the game is, though? This is one of the best throws I've ever seen Jalen Hurts throw. Like that ball is out of his hands so early. So guys, you're showing that play. My favorite part is Jalen Hurts 100% lies about that final completion to A.J. Brown. So on second down, follow me through here. Second down, AJ's by himself again to his left, right before that last completion. Minnesota runs their all-out pressure. AJ runs the slant. It's a little behind in completion. Okay. Philadelphia calls timeout the very next moment. They get into a relatively same formation. Minnesota's lined up. Here comes all-out pressure. You see Jalen Hurts point to the left a little bit before this ball gets snapped, if you guys can rewind it. But if not, he points to his left to AJ saying, like, hey, if that guy blitzes, you're my quote-unquote hot route. And the corner D-butt is watching Jalen Hurts do that. He totally lies. Like, you can see the corner.
Oh, he played him.
It's a former teammate, too, Cesare Rogers.
Yes, 100%. And Jalen's like, hey, if he pressures, you got to give me the slant. And they run the slug gun. The reason I know that Jalen's not pointing in reality is the whole offensive line slides to the left. If he was sliding the whole offensive line to the left, he ain't telling him he's hot off anybody to his left. And so that to me goes back to what Jalen grew in last year, was like owning the line of scrimmage, situationally being perfect.